Hi, fifth grade. Today we are going to be continuing our study of Native American tribes from different regions around North America. Keep in mind that Native Americans had to completely survive off the land. They were not able to run to the grocery store or Home Depot to get food or supplies that they needed to survive. Everything that they used, owned, or ate had to come from natural resources. A natural resource is something that comes naturally from the earth and is not man made. As we learn about tribes from different regions, we're really focusing on how their lifestyle changes based on the region that they lived in. The climate was a huge factor, as well as the natural resources available to them. Today, we're going to be looking at tribes in the southeastern woodland regions. Just a reminder that you can feel free to pause or rewind this video as you take notes in your graphic organizer. All right, let's begin. And just a reminder, this is where that southeastern woodlands region is. The land. The Native Americans living in the southeastern woodlands had a variety of landforms. In the northern part of the region, there are mountain ranges such as the Appalachian Mountains, the Great Smoky Mountains, and the Blue Ridge Mountains. In the southern part of the region, there are swampy and grassy areas. This region also has access to the Atlantic Ocean. A swamp is an area of wetland. The area is usually surrounded by trees. Animals such as alligators, crocodiles, cranes, frogs, and a variety of fish and insects live in swamps. All right, now let's look at their shelter. So keep in mind, a shelter is where someone lives. There were two main types of homes that were used in the southeastern woodlands. The first are the chickees. Chickees were the types of homes used mainly in what is now Florida. They were made from thick posts and a thatched roof. A thatched roof is a roof made by tying grasses or pieces of straw together. The bottom platform was raised a few feet off the ground to protect the home from floods and to keep the house from sinking into the swampy land. There were no walls on a chickee. During rainstorms, natives would cover the sides with large mats made of animal skin. The second type of shelter that we're going to look at is a wattle and daub house. So wattle and daub houses were made by weaving river cane, a type of plant, wood and vines together to create the outer frame. Then the natives would coat the frame with plaster made from wet soil, clay, sand, and other natural materials. The plaster would dry and become hard. The roof was either a thatched roof or covered with tree bark. Next, we're going to look at the food that these tribes would eat. So the southeastern woodland natives grew a lot of what they ate. They also would hunt animals and catch fish. Here are some examples of what they ate: turkey, corn and squash, deer, turtle, fish, alligator, and beans. Next, we're going to take a look at their clothing. In the southeastern woodlands, natives were able to wear much lighter clothing because the weather was typically warmer. Most of the clothing was made from deer skin. Here's an example of what their clothing might look like. So a headdress was made of animal feathers. Loose-fitting shirts and skirts were made of deer skin. Leggings and loincloth were made of deer skin. Those were worn in the winter. Moccasins were made of buckskin, also worn in the winter. Transportation. So remember, transportation is a word for how someone gets around, how they're able to move. Southeastern woodland natives spent a lot of time walking from place to place. Imagine that, walking as your main form of transportation. Like many Native Americans, the southeastern woodland natives used canoes. Their canoes were made from hollowed out logs. They would use poles to steer the boat. Some canoes even had a sail. And here we're going to look at tools and important objects. Using what they found in nature, natives from the southeastern woodlands were able to create several types of tools and objects. Let's look at a few of them right now. A spear made of wood and sharpened stone, would help natives to catch fish. A turtle rattle was made from a turtle shell. It was used as an instrument during tribal dances and ceremonies. Bow and arrows were used for hunting. A net was also used for catching fish. A tomahawk, a type of axe, was used to cut through things like wood. A blowgun was a hollow tube made of cane or reed, types of plants. The blowgun could shoot out arrows or darts by blowing into the end of the gun. And that's it today for the Southeastern Woodland region. And again, feel free to rewind or pause if you need to go back and add to your notes. Great job, 5th grade.